Hello everyone, it's Robin here and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm excited to see you all here today. Here at ohelloRobin, I like to do everything with planners and journals. We just love to have fun. I also like books and I've been upping my reading game this year, and that's what today's video is going to be about. We're going to be about books and we're going to be about having fun with our planners. I have my reading journal here that I created from a Happy Planner system. I'm pretty excited about that. We'll be updating my reading journal and talking about the books that I read in February. So let's get started. So here is my reading journal that I created from a few bits and pieces of Happy Planner items. I used Happy Plans and notes. I used this cover from an old Happy Planner that I have that I'm totally obsessed with. Look at the icons, they're so pretty. And gold glitter plastic discs. I think it's just beautiful. I love this. Okay, I added a few extra pieces inside and we'll get to that as we go. So in my monthly section, we're gonna start there. This was January, so this is my monthly recap rather, where this was my favorite book I read in January, and then these are the other two books I read. We're going to be doing the same thing for February, and we'll fill this out at the end. But right here is where we want to start, because this is the monthly calendar where I track when I start a book and when I finish a book. So we can see here in February, I started reading Finley Donovan is Killing It. It's over off the side here because I actually started that book in January. Then I read this as a Kindle, so that's what that icon is. Then I read Horror Store as an audiobook. Then I started Lunar Love as a regular book. So I had 3 books going on at once. That is just crazy. I finished Finley Donovan here because it's a darker sticker, and this is how I use this. I picked up a lot of the stickers in here are stickers that you can find on my Etsy shop. And I will put a link down below so that you can check anything out that you want to. So I used the red trio quarter boxes. I used the colorful stickers to note when I started a book, and then I used these, the black trio to note when I finished a book. So that's what that is. And these icons I have on the shop as well. So I finished Finley Donovan here, and then I finished Horror Store here. And then I started The Very Secret Society of Regular Witches. And then I finished that book because it was just, yeah, I loved that book. And then I finally finished Lunar Love down here. So I went through that because we need to use these sheets to finish up with all the trackers, which is where we're going to next. I'll be talking about these books as we go and what I thought of them, but I want to show you some of the trackers that I created for here. The Goodreads goal is the first one. So I really wanted to up my reading game this year, and using a planner is a great way to do that because I'm actually tracking goals. You'll find in this planner too that it's a goal planner, but it's also a little bit of a memory keeping planner. So we'll see that. So my Goodreads goal is 32 books. And what I wanted to do here, I made squares. I wanted to also note which books were regular books, which books were audiobooks, and which books were being read on my Kindle, so ebooks. And that's what this color coding is down here. So I put all the books up that I've read so far, but I left the last one so that you can see. So I read 3 books in January. Finley Donovan is read. I've read Finley Donovan. It was a Kindle. Horror Store is the next one. It was an audiobook. Very Secret Society, Kindle. And then I finished Lunar Love, which is a regular book. So I'm going to use this mild liner here because that's the blue for that. And I'm just going to color that in. Now I will tell you this. Coloring in is very satisfying, which is really helping with my reading. It's making the books become a little more interactive, and it's just fun. So there I have it. So far this year I've read 7 books. Let's see what's on the next page. I have a few trackers here for different reasons. Oh, this is my monthly stats. How many books did I read and how many pages did I turn? Which we will get to in a moment because these numbers we will get at the end when we do the review. So I'm gonna move to the next page because we have this page which is really fun. This is my bookshelf and I'm putting pictures of the books, and let me show you how those look. I printed off these books on sticker paper. Oh my gosh, aren't they cute? So I read 4 books this month, and which order did I finish them? I finished Finley Donovan first, and then I finished Horror Store, And then I finished Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and then I finished Lunar Love. So check these out. Okay, aren't these cute? Look at these covers. So these are 1.5 inches tall because all book covers are different, you know, widths and whatnot. Like, look how thick Horror Story is. So I make them all the same height so that they will fit on my bookshelf. Super cute. And I'm gonna go ahead and put them on now. And there we have them. Oh my gosh, aren't those so cute? So I just like this page a lot. It's more of a memory keeping idea because it's a visual representation of my books. So my goal for Goodreads is 32 books for this year. Well, that's just my regular goal. And each bookshelf is holding 4 books, and I have 8 shelves. So when I get to the bottom here, that will be 32 books, and I will see all my 32 books. But I think these are really cute. Now, I will mention this. I did make other sizes that we'll be using later. So these are 1.5 inches tall. These are a little larger. I'll show you next to Lunar Love here. These are 2 inches tall, so you can see they're a little bit bigger. We'll use these in the book review area. And I also made some even bigger. These are 2.5 inches tall. And I'll show you how I'm gonna use that. So here we have all the Finley Donovans. Those are the different sizes. So I do wait until the end of the month to print out my book covers because I don't want to just print one at a time. So even though I'm filling out my reading journal during the month, oftentimes I'll wait and do this near the end with you all. Super fun. Okay, let's see what the next tracker is. Oh, my bookshelf. So this is another tracker that I have in here where I drew a bookshelf. I have 32 books drawn out here and I'm coloring them in. So here's my color code at the bottom. I'm using a color pencil for this, and there are 12 boxes down here. So each month is a color. So January was blue. So I can see here I read 3 books in January, and I read 4 books in February, and February is red. So I'm going to leave this last one to color in with you guys. So I just basically color it in. You could use marker too. I like the idea of the color pencil because it's a little lighter than the markers. Sometimes the markers get a little dark, and I wanted to write the title of the book in here. So I just kind of color that in a little bit like so. Easy peasy. Leave that off to the side. I'm getting a skinny micron. You can use a pen. I just want to use a thin one because I am writing the name of the book. And you can see I did Finley Donovan, Horror Store, and I just wrote Very Secret Society. I know which book that is. I'm not going to write the whole title because it's not going to fit. So this one is Lunar Love, which actually should fit. So this marker writes really well on the color pencil, so that works out. So that's how I use that page, and I can kind of see at a quick glance, you know, all the books I read for the month, and I like my color coding system. So this has been really fun. I'll put links down below for the videos I did where I built these pages so that you can see and build one yourself if you want. Okay, we're on to the review section, which is also really fun. So these are the books that I did in January, and here you see this is where we're going to get these 2-inch book covers going on, and I'm using washi tape to mark off my sections, and I'm going to go ahead and flip because I already started putting them on, but this is where we're going to put the book covers in, my star rating, and we're going to talk about each book. So let's go ahead and pull these out so that we can do a better job with this. Let's move some of this over. I think I can put this to the side now. I can move these over and just give us a little bit of room. I pulled too many pages, that's okay. So that's fun too, because you can pull things out and do this. So the way I put these together, I used washi tape, and I just picked this washi tape up I have a recent washi tape haul, and these are some skinny washi, and that's what I'm using to create the lines. There's some I have here, like this yellow one is one I already had, but I have a lot of new colors to play with the books, and I think that will make it a lot of fun. I section them off with the title, with information that I want to know. So I have the title, I have the genre the book is, I have the main characters, the page numbers, the form I read it in, and then I write the top 3 things or 3 things about the book that'll help spark my memory when I want to go back and look at it and saying, oh yeah, that's what that book was. So we're going to go ahead and put this on here, and I'm going to show you a few other things that we're going to use. And again, this is 2 inches tall, this book cover here. I'm going to kind of take a look here. I kind of put it near the top. So that's how we're going to do it again. So Finley Donovan is killing it. It was a really fun book. Definitely a fun book. It's by El Cosimano. Really fun book. Oh, let me pull something else out here. We're going to use these reading icons as well as rating stars, because I need to put some rating stars down here. Oh, I did put the reading icons, but here's the sheet. So I can pull that to the side because I already put it on there. And let me get this rating star. So this book was really fun. I enjoyed it a lot, and I read it pretty quickly. So I'm going to put my rating stars right here at the bottom of it. There we go. Okay. And let me grab my mild liner. We're going to be using this. So it's a mystery thriller. The book cover itself says it's a mystery, but it's also kind of a thriller. And it really is both, because it's just a lot of fun. So it's Finley and Vero are our main characters. And Finley is a recent divorced single mother now. She's a single mother. And Vero is her babysitter, so to speak, that her ex-husband fired, but then they got back together. So they are together now. So that gives you a little brief idea. So one, accidental killer for hire. That's Finley. So she's a novelist, and she writes these crime novels, and she was in a coffee shop with her editor, and someone overheard her talking about a novel and thought she was a killer for hire, and then hired her to kill her husband. So that's how this all started. She doesn't really want to do this, but things keep happening. It's just a bumbling situation. So she's an accidental killer for hire, 2 partners and true friends in crime. So Vero teams up with Finley to help out, and Vero's amazing. They're definitely partners in crime. It's a great friendship forming there. They have each other's back to no end, and it's just funny. Now, you wouldn't think a book about killing is funny. But again, remember the accidental part. That's what keeps happening, because it is twisted, it is hilarious, and it is fast-paced. And this is why I gave it 5 stars. So I'm going to color these stars in with gold, right? And I'm using the thin end of the mild liner to color these stars in. I absolutely loved it. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun to read, for sure. There are 2 more books in the series, and I'm looking forward to reading the next one, because this one does kind of end a little bit on a cliffhanger. So there's more to the story that you want to read. So a lot of fun. Okay, then I went into, and I read that on a Kindle, if I didn't mention that, 368 pages. So this is where I write the page numbers, which we'll use later. We'll add them up. Okay, then I went into Horror Store. Oh my goodness, this book. First of all, check out the cover. I love the cover art on this book. So Horror Store, and you see those 2 dots there. It's very reminiscent of an IKEA, because this book is about an IKEA-like store named Orsk. But look at the pictures in here. There's the face and the hands. I love this cover. So Horror Store is a horror. It's by Grady Hendrix. And I haven't read any Grady Hendrix books before. This was my first one. And yeah, it's definitely horror. Very graphic horror, actually. Kind of need to be in the mood. But I was attracted to this because my friend Donna from the Daunties had read it. She absolutely loved it, and it sounded ingenious, and that's why I wanted to read it. Well, I got it on audio, so I missed some of the parts that you get in the book, because Horror Store is about an IKEA-like store named Orsk. And when you read the book, it reads almost like a catalog also. So if you've ever walked around IKEA or been in the aisles or that type of thing, you know all their furniture and how you put it all together and how everything's in this other language and all of this kind of stuff. That's what this book is. That's what this book has in it. And the funny thing is, the audiobook, in the beginning of each chapter, it talks about a different piece of furniture, and it's like a commercial. You hear the commercial in the audiobook. So that's actually really fun. Really fun indeed. So Grady Hendrix wrote this, 248 pages, pretty quick read for sure. And our main characters, there's actually a few characters, but I think the main characters really are Basil and Amy. And Basil is the store manager. Amy is another employee. They also grab another employee because it is about one crazy IKEA-orsk night. Well, there's some interesting things happening in the store. Some questionable things. Every time they open up a store, things have happened in the store and they think something's going on. So they decide to do a 9-hour shift overnight. So these 3 employees, Basil, Amy, and I think her name is Ruth Ann, do this overnight thing to see what was going on in the store and why things are amiss. So number 2, I wrote, not scary, bam, evil galore. So I wrote that because just when I thought, this isn't scary, then bam, evil starts happening and we go full on Dean Koontz and Stephen King in this book. It's insane, the things that happen. So they run across these other 2 characters who are in the store at night doing some paranormal investigating. So then we have those 2, and then they run across also this homeless person named Carl. So those are all the characters that are running around the store. So it was this homeless person in the beginning that I was thinking, well, that's not scary. It's this homeless person. He's the one causing all the trouble. No. Not necessarily. And I won't say anything more. But 3, it is humorous, it is quirky, and completely horrific. Yeah, it's horrific indeed. So I was wavering back and forth. 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. But I'm giving it 4 stars because it is very original. And I did enjoy it. I wasn't quite ready for a horror. And that's why I think I was wavering so much. But this book is very original. And even though I wasn't ready for horror, I was also ready for this book because we're just building in my office here, and we've been in IKEA quite a few times. We are building the furniture, so IKEA has been on my mind the whole time I was reading this book. So yes, it is your worst IKEA nightmare, this book, but I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually, and Donna loved it, and I'm glad she recommended it because I am happy I read it. So horror store, yeah, good times. Our next book is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love this. This is by Sangu Mandana. Mandana. I'm not sure how I'm saying that right, but I really, really enjoyed this book. I read it on my Kindle, which I'm also really enjoying my Kindle, by the way, quite a bit. I read it on my Kindle and I couldn't put it down. I loved it. So it is a fantasy, so it has a witch thing going on. And the main characters are Micah Moon, and I put her whole name because I just love her name, Micah Moon, and Jamie. Now, there are more characters in this book, but I think those really are the main characters because there's also a little bit of a love story going on between Micah Moon and Jamie. 336 pages. So Micah Moon is a witch, and she's alone. She's a lonely witch because the way the world is these days, obviously you can't let people know you're a witch, for one thing, but no 2 witches can be together for any length of time because their power becomes way too powerful and they might get noticed. So there's this society of witches that get together every few months. They hold a bit of a meeting and then they disperse. So that's basically the idea. And they have to live their life alone. So when you're growing up as a witch, as Micah did, you have to also be taken away from your family so that you can be in the care of people that can, direct you and help you with your powers and all that type of thing. Family members, your parents, pass away when it sounds morbid, but we get past that really fast. So they're just alone and they grow up alone, and all these witches grow up pretty much orphaned. Well, after this great big meeting, which Micah deems the Very Secret Society of Witches, not irregular, but witches, she gets a message from someone asking her if she can come tutor their three children who have these special needs happening. Well, she gets to this house and they are 3 witch children living together, all plucked from different countries and families, which is really cool, actually. And she's supposed to help them learn how to control their powers and use their powers. And all in the while keeping them secret, which the girls all then deemed them the secret society of irregular witches, because they are all being together and their power is getting very powerful. So that's the premise of the story. I don't want to get into it too much because I really don't like to do spoilers. But let's look at my top 3 here. Heartwarming and cozy. This is a very, very heartwarming book and cozy indeed. And you're going to want to drink tea because Micah makes a lot of magical tea, which is really fun. And the whole time I was reading it, I just craved tea, which is fun. Tea is good. And it's filled with potions and spells and lots of magical fun. So these 3 girls are just what you would expect when you get three girls together and doing magic. They want to learn. They're against the learning and they want to have fun, and it's just they don't know how to control it. So some problems happen because of this, obviously, and there's a big reason all this has to happen, which I don't want to get into because I don't want to spoil anything, but it is a lot of fun. And the third one is an isolated witch. Micah finds her home at Nowhere House. So this is the name of the house, is Nowhere House, and it's how you become a family with people who aren't your true family, but how you build a family with all the people that live in the house and care for these girls. And Jamie is a librarian, and he's really the caregiver of these girls. And Jamie and Micah have a romance happening, which is really sweet. Now, there is one part near the end where it gets steamy, which I don't get because this book does not need any steam at all. You don't need it, but it's not that I mind steam. It seemed out of place in this book. It was such a cozy read, and then all of a sudden there's like 3 pages of steam, and then it's over. So get past that if steam's not your thing. And the book is really, really good. I loved it. So I'm giving this one 5 stars. For me, it was 5 stars because I enjoyed everything about reading this book and all the tea and the fun and the magical spells and the coziness and heartwarming and all the things and family. That's that book. Loved it. The last book I finished was Lunar Love. Oh yeah, check this out. Gorgeous. So Lunar Love, I read in book form. It was one of my book of the month books, which I need to get up on reading my book of the month books because I'm kind of gathering a few. So I got to get on it. There she is. Like, look at this blue without. Isn't that pretty? I think all these colors work really well with these. So let's put my stars on here. I like these star rating stars too. So there's 5 stars, and you just color in however many you want. You can use these for books, TV shows, movies, all the things. There we go. They're just star rating. Fun. So Lunar Love, 336 pages. It's a romance. Yes, because we were in February. I needed to read a romance. And this romance is between Olivia and Bennett. I enjoyed this one too. This was really fun. It is all about Chinese zodiac and matchmaking. So Olivia, her family has this matchmaking business that's based in the Chinese zodiac, and it's been that way for generations. And she just got put in place where she's in charge of it. Her grandmother put her in charge of it. And then Bennett comes in and he opens up this app where it's a dating service that's based on the Chinese zodiac. So here's Olivia. She's the newly head of this matchmaking business that's been in the family generation for, family has been in the family for generations. And then she finds out this Bennett is just opening this new app that everyone thinks is a lot of fun, and it's competition. So it is a flirty rivals to lovers situation. And I will tell you this, Olivia is her own worst enemy because some people say it's enemies to, but it's not enemies to lovers. It was rivals because Bennett, he's not even a rival to her because he kind of just likes her. He likes Olivia. I loved the character Bennett. Bennett is a great character. I think what I loved about her, he just seemed amused at her all the time. But Olivia was always trying to just do these devious things to get information about how Bennett's running his business and how he's going to take over her business and all of this kind of stuff. And it's just a lot. It's just fun. It's very fun. It is very flirty. And I think that's why I liked it. So it made it kind of lighthearted. The other reason I liked it too is there were fun dates in Southern California. So this book takes place in the LA area, and Rod and I used to live in San Diego. So we lived in Southern California before we moved to the Midwest here in Illinois. And a lot of their dates went to places that Rod and I have been at, and they were very descriptive. In fact, one of their first meetings, I will call them meetings because they weren't always dates. They were kind of meetings, happened at the Getty Museum. And that's where Rod and I went on our very first official date. It was at the Getty Museum. So she described it really well. And I loved that. I also loved her attitude when she went to the baseball game and all she did was go up and get food and eat food and have Bennett bring her food and all of it. It was just funny. I loved it. And going back to the Chinese zodiac and matchmaking, because I saw a lot of Rod and I, not in the rival part of it, but in this book because of where they were going and all of their meetings and dates. But their signs were horse and rat, which in the Chinese zodiac is not good for matchmaking, but those two did make a great match. Rod and I are horse and a rat too. So yeah, enjoyed this book. This is by Lauren Kung Jessen, and this is it a debut novel? I think it is. Let me just check that really quick. It is a debut novel, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars, and I read that in book form. Okay, let me grab my reading journal so we can put this back in. Okay, we have this right here, and let's move some things aside. I had a great time reading this month. I read 4 books, which is a lot for me in a month, so I think that's a lot of fun. And look at how cool this section is turning out to be. So I can flip it through it and look at all the books that I read for the month. Okay, now that we know our page numbers and things of that nature, let's go back to the tracker and write that part down. So it was right here. So in February, let me grab, I think I'm using a thick one. We'll try an 08. I read 4 books. And how many pages was that? 1,288. So we have that. We're going to go back to our month because we're going to fill this page out. So here's January, and let's put February back in, just like so. And well, actually, let's not put this page in because we need this right here. Okay, I have all these book covers, and I have the 2-inch size, which is what we're going to use to lay on here. And I have 2 in the 2.5-inch size because the larger one is where I'm going to put what my favorite book is. I think that's my favorite book. So I'm not going to put these in. I'm going to hold those off to the side. This is how we're going to do this. I don't know, kind of something like this. I have this monthly script here, and I'm just going to pull this February off and put right up here at the top. So I used washi tape, as you can see, a thicker washi, and I used the pink because, you know, February. And what does this say? This says, I just want to read and take naps. Yes, please. I just want to read and take naps. Well, let's just start putting these in. I put that off to the side because I do want to put a quote here from the book, and I'm going to use a really fine one. And I pulled the quote up on my Kindle, so I'm going to kind of look at this, and let me go ahead and write that. So the quote in here that I absolutely loved, niceness is all about what we do when other people are looking. Kindness, on the other hand, runs deep. Kindness is what happens when no one's looking. Ah, love that. Love that. Okay. So, oh, we have to fill this fun part in here too. So let's see here. How many books did I read? 1 book. I read 1 audio, and 2 Kindle books. Sweet. And a total of how many pages? 1,288. Perfect. And I can go ahead and place this right in here. So we have, let's see, this was January, and then we have February here into February, and then we will start March, which right now is empty. But I did start 2 books, so let me grab something. I'm going to use green for March, and I'm going to put in the 2 books. So here's how I have been doing it. So we'll do light. I started a book on the 2nd, and I'm going to do a different color, a book on the 4th. And I'm just using pen to write these in. I started reading Legends and Lattes, fun read. And Saturday, my book of the month came, and I started reading Wayward. So that's how I write these in. And then I also put in the form that I'm writing them. So Legends and Lattes, I didn't have a physical copy, so I am reading it on my Kindle. And I just stick that right here. And Wayward is a book. And I'm sticking that right there. Okay, super fun. Yeah, these quarter boxes come in real handy with this. But that's how I'm going to fill out March. So this is my reading journal, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. I hope you're enjoying it too. What was your favorite book that you read in February? Again, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I am on that train, definitely. But I also want to read more Finlay Donovan. As I said, there are stickers that I use that are on my shop, my Etsy shop at ohelloRobin. If you use the code ohello15, you'll get 15% off your order. So I will put a link for that down below, as well as that code. And I guess that's it. I had a great time reading this month, and I had a lot of fun putting this together. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you have a magical day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!